The Challenge of the Congo, written by Kwame, writes a brilliant assessment of what transpired in the halls of power, which is where this book, again, The Challenge of the Congo, comes into its own. It was a case of how the foreign pressures leaned on Congo to the point where the country could not hold. And the level of interference, both within and outside of Congo, nothing could have summarized what Nkrumah was about when he said the independence of Ghana was incomplete or meaningless unless it was linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. And he said it that as long as 1 inch of the African soil was still under colonial rule, Africa was not free nor secure. And this book is Nkrumah's pledge to highlighting and documenting the complicity of the West and the United Nations in the debacle that is Congo today. In fact, I would quickly read something from the man when he says the reason for writing the book are pretty straightforward. The history of independent Congo has been unusual right from the achievement of independence in 1960. It was faced with unusual trials and temptations, and the independent African states, including Ghana, were called upon to give it much assistance. Furthermore, the events that have taken place in the Congo since its independence constitute a turning point in the history of Africa. If we allow the independence of Congo to be compromised in any way by the imperialists and neocolonialists, the whole of Africa will be exposed to grave risk. There must be an African solution to the crisis in Congo. And so, this book is a testament to explaining what has gone, what happened, who was involved, and what the Africans did to help themselves out of that situation. So it is Challenge of the Congo by Kwame Nkrumah. Africa's World War, Congo, the Rwandan Genocide and the Making of a Continental Catastrophe by Gerard Prunier. This book lays bare the complex dynamic between Rwanda and Congo that have been driving this disaster. In the recent days or recent weeks, you will have heard about the M23 rebels troubling the eastern side of Congo. This is a continuation of what transpired during the Africans' World War, and essentially how the mines are being exploited for the resources. This book goes into extraordinary detail as to how the Rwanda genocide is actually used as cover to destabilize the Congo. And it's a very deep read in the sense that he has spared no record in bringing this book into being. I would enjoin people to get it, because not only would you understand how the parties around Congo came into invading Congo. Yes, countries around Congo invading Congo because, what was the claim again? They were chasing their enemies into the Congo because they considered Congo to be destable, and their enemies were hiding in Congo, using that as cover to come and exploit resources in the Congo. This is the book for you. It's titled Africa's World War by Gerard Prunier. Africa's World War by Gerard Prunier. Katanga, 1960 to 1963, written by Christopher Orton. Now, what makes this book pertinent is the eastern side of Congo was once a breakaway country called Katanga between 1960 and 1963. And this book, although I would also enjoin people, just like the Congo, the history of a people, to read with a grain of salt. This book is important in the sense that it shows how minerals, private contractors, or as they're now called, non-state actors, or better used term is mercenaries, the CIA would sponsor them, and global corporations come in and picking Congo clean. This book goes into detail in doing that. But however, where it falls short is the motivation for the breakaway region, saying it was an organic issue rather than pointing out that the fact it was a way of Belgium to undermine the government of Patrice Lumumba was why they supported the breakaway of this country for 3 years. And so the motivation he alludes to is that it was people asserting their own independence, wherein all the other documents that are bound suggest otherwise. And I don't know what the motivation was for taking that line, because the documents are out there that clearly states Katanga was used to undermine. Katanga and Kasai, which was another country, used to undermine the powers of Patrice Lumumba in order to break his back, or break his will, as it were. So, again, the book is Katanga, 1960 to 1963. Subtitled Mercenary Spies and the African Nations That Wage War on the World, written by Christopher Orton.